Hey there, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Shared Tangos. This is episode number 6. Today we're talking ESL Los Angeles qualifiers. We're going to recap what we're looking at for this major coming up. The minor qualifiers are happening right now. As we're recording this, we're going to be watching Alliance versus Nigma on our second monitors and hit all the other news that's been happening here in the Dotaverse. Trent, welcome back to our weekly podcast. Feels good to say that without lying for the first time in my life.
It's very strange to say that.
Yeah. It's true, though.
It is. Look at us.
We're
Aren't
keeping
we wonderful?
pace.
Yeah, these Fridays are working pretty well for me. I'm not going to lie. This is some peak scheduling for me. But, yeah, I'm glad you're also honest about the monitor thing because we're going to have to keep an eye on this to see if I don't even know which team is better to go to the minor as an organizer. I guess it's probably Nigma, but you're not doing too bad with Alliance either.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Alliance is one of those orgs that has crazy followers and does have a pretty hardcore fan base, but I think it's lost a little bit of its gusto in terms of that effect. Same with Na'Vi. They still bring a lot of viewers, but it's different from the old days of like the Dendi Na'Vi. You know,
people see Nigma and they still think tier 1, even if they're not tier 1, or at least maybe they won't admit it to themselves. But these guys just came second at TI, so. You still have to have some expectations, and that's going to make people want to watch your minor. So,
well, before we started, you made a good point that the European region is just so stacked that in some ways it makes these guys look worse than they are because they're, quote, struggling to get into this minor slot. That's sort of a byproduct of just not being dominant in the region that is clearly very dominant right now.
Yep.
So what do you
I guess we might as well start there. As the minor qualifiers wrapping up for Europe, the major one, you might be wondering, well, why is Nigma in the minor qualifier if you haven't been tuning in? That's because there were 3 slots for Europe. I think many people, we even discussed last podcast, thinking that perhaps 4 would have been more warranted, considering they got 3 of the top 6 slots at the last major, and that was by having a minor winner there as well. So, you're maybe thinking they might have earned it, but Valve say no. Valve say take your 3 slots, and it, as expected, Team Secret made it through. The question mark of OG, I don't know if it was fair to say they were expected. I think a lot of people had these guys potentially bombing out under the guise of, like, no synergy. You got 3 new players now teaming up with Tops and a No-Tail, but they did not face a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry. So I've shown off my Dunder Mifflin shirt. I just bought this, my trip to the East Coast. Very proud of my new garb here, bud. I wore this just for you. I thought of you this morning as soon as I got out of the shower when I was deciding what shirt do I want to wear today.
I hadn't put on the camera yet, so thank you for that. That is beautiful.
You're welcome. I was back home for a funeral, and we stopped by my old stomping grounds, the old Deptford Mall. Got to show the lady around. We went to Hot Topic, bought a couple of T-shirts like old times. She got a Bob Marley shirt. I felt young again, Trent.
Yeah.
The last 15 years really flew by.
Well, I don't think we have Hot Topic here, but there's some store that looks like a Hot Topic here, and I always see all the band shirts and everything, and I think, to be young again.
Oh, band shirts. So anyway, sorry to derail here, but
yeah, OG. They look good.
OG.
They crushed it.
So who qualified for Europe? Secret, OG, and Ninjas in Pajamas. That was the other one that was a little bit exciting.
I mean, that was the big question mark. Everyone thought for sure, like, they were such an afterthought. They were like, yeah, they'll be in the minor qualifier. Maybe they'll knock someone out of the minor in an upset. But NIP stole themselves a major slot. And Blitz, I've been talking to Blitz a little bit. Obviously, he's working with Team Liquid, and all he keeps saying is, imagine if we didn't lose to Singularity. Because they dropped 1 game to Singularity. Singularity's only point of the entire group stage was a loss from Liquid, and because of that loss, they tied with NIP. Then they lost the best one tiebreaker, so that didn't put them into the major qualifier. They had to go right to the minor qualifier after that. And had they won that best one, they would have got to play against aggressive mode, which is definitely the weakest of the 3 other teams. I mean, it's either Team Secret, OG, or Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
So, or sorry, not Alliance. Who was it? It was oh yeah, it would have been you. Yeah. So it's either Team Secret, OG, or you play aggressive mode. So you'd want to be playing aggressive mode, and you just had to beat them. So
So
assuming you would have also got 2-0'd by Secret, which I think you probably.
So in the minor
assumed.
qualifier for Europe, it was aggressive mode, Nigma, Liquid Alliance, and it was Alliance that knocked Liquid down 2-1 in the upper bracket before the grand finals, and then Enigma eliminated Liquid to set up their spot from the lower bracket into the grand finals. And right now is the best of 5, Nigma versus Alliance. Winner of this goes to the minor.
Yeah, and Liquid had 2-0'd Nigma in the upper bracket already. So kind of thought they might have had their number, but then the best rivalry in Dota right now, Liquid versus Alliance, I would say. It seems like they just constantly keep playing each other, and it's always enjoyable. Goes the full 3 games, they lose that, and then they just get 2-0'd by Enigma, and it's done. That's it.
It's kind of becoming that new Europe El Clasico that you get hyped up for. So in that first Nigma Liquid series, Liquid won both games. Oh, that's great. Is that no? That's Void Spirit. They played Void Spirit in both games.
The Quake for Void Spirit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then lower bracket. Looks like they got it, and Enigma got it in one game. Damn, dude, that lower bracket series was quick. It was 2 28-minute games.
I mean, the first game, Liquid lost with a pretty liquid lineup. Some of their signature heroes.
Lich, Earthshaker, Monkey King, Puck, Lone Druid.
Yeah. Quality heroes, but not able to. In fact, they got kind of rolled over in that game by the 1-0-17 mind control Slardar.
Dude, Slardar is ridiculous right now. I'm telling you. I mean,
Yeah,
Slardar TA has always been a good combo. It's losing right now in the hands of Nigma, but those heroes smash, dude. They hit such a crazy timing where the damage is unreal.
And again, that game that's going on right now, what a comeback here by Alliance. They were pretty far down. They might just force a game 5. I'm glad we didn't try and wait it out for the end of the game.
Yeah.
I
mean, that Liquid Nigma lower bracket series, man, that game too was also brutal. Miracle was 11-0-12 on a Spectre.
Yeah.
And we went 9-1-12 on Void Spirit. So does it seem like Void Spirit is established just as a quality tier 1 threatening core now? It seems like this either Desolator or crit first BKB kind of build is pretty good. Heavy burst damage.
Yeah.
Pop off.
It's all about the Chrysalis buff, I think, really helped. I mean, this hero was always going to be crazier in the hands of pro players compared to pubs. It's kind of like Ember, where right now in pubs, he still has a 48% win rate on Void Spirit. Whereas, you watch these pro games and you're like, wow, this hero's absolutely busted. And, well, there you go. They did it. Alliance just won game 4.
There you go.
They're going to game 5.
Game 5, baby. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit OD-esque, right? That's another hero that's classically had a lower win rate in pubs compared to pro games.
Or IO, even.
Yeah.
I mean, IO's probably the best
extreme example.
But yeah, I mean, that's all just Europe between the major and the minor, and that'll obviously be wrapping up soon. Disappointment, I'm sure, for aggressive mode. They were very close getting themselves to the matchup versus NIP. I mean, that was a winnable matchup for them. Out of all the other teams in the qualifier, finding that as your best of 3 team to maybe get to the major, I thought they had a pretty good shot, but NIP turned up. Peter said, screw all the haters, I believe. He was seeing some of the talk. NIP getting flamed the most out of probably any team in this qualifier.
They've spent a little too much time in minors and minor qualifiers, I think, this circuit. That's probably fair to say. So it's nice that they've kind of hit their mark a little bit. And now the real challenge awaits. They need to actually do something at the major and place, ideally. But this is an exciting time on the DPC round. We're at that point where teams can still make a run to qualify for TI. The teams at the top are pretty safe, but there's still a lot of mobility in there. And, this is where dreams are made, dude. This is what it's all about.
Well, on the other half of Europe, the other side of Europe, rather, from us, is CIS. And that was the big dogs were Navi and VP. That was kind of what everyone was excited to see, right? Because all the roster drama we discussed in the previous podcast with Virtus Pro stealing Zayats from Navi and then messing up GPK as well from Gambit. So all kinds of shenanigans going on. But Virtus Pro, despite everything they've been up to, they did go 4-0-0 in the group stage. So 4 perfect 2-0s against their opponents in Group A. That sent them into the upper bracket where they subsequently got 2-0'd by Hellraisers.
Yeah.
So maybe showing that perhaps the Group B was a little bit tougher. But they did get their revenge with a 2-over later on to secure as Navi took the first slot. After those 2 wins versus VP, Hellraisers just went 0-4-0. Very painful.
Yeah.
2-0 by Navi, 2-0 by Virtus Pro, and you're just done. And then they tweeted immediately after they disbanded.
Jesus Christ. It's weird how you see this same kind of pattern where Hellraisers 2-0'd VP in the upper bracket, and then for elimination, VP 2-0'd Hellraisers right back the other way, like we were just talking about with Nigma and Liquid. And again, in similar fashion with, I guess, fairly one-sided games. Looks like game 1 of the upper bracket, VP Hellraisers, was 57 minutes and relatively close. Spectre versus Troll. It's kind of cool. But
maybe they didn't disband, actually. Well, they did just lose, or maybe they did disband. I'm not sure. I saw some tweet from Funnick, but it might have been a mistranslation. The translation made it look like they disbanded.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, ever since that news about the Chinese tournament that supposedly invited all those teams that they never reached out to, and that was just a bad translation picked up by that Russian site, I don't know, man. I'm not trusting random translations anymore. If it's not coming from Jack or Josh or Velat, I'm pretty out. That one was bad, dude. We flamed the shit out of them, and then somebody PM'd me just like, hey, I work with that company, and he sent me like a screenshot from the deck and circled it and was like, this actually translates to teams that we will contact.
Oh, well, I mean, we did mention it when discussing it. I said that it was a translation picked up, and there is some debate whether it's real or not. So we didn't treat it as gospel.
I guess that's true, but still.
Yeah.
It was 100% bullshit. So, and wow, man, VP rolled Hellraisers in game 2 of that lower bracket series, 21 minutes with a Zeus. That's kind of neat. A Luna, Drow, Venge, Undying, LC lineup from Hellraisers. That is a very CIS draft.
Well, not enough.
No, not good.
They're in game 5 right now too, eh?
Are they?
Yeah, Force versus Cyber Legacy. So that's the Palatimos' squad versus Chuvash and Vanscore have themselves a team too. Ah, look at that. So yeah, minor stuff still wrapping up as well.
Game 4 was 17 minutes. Okay, this has been an interesting series. It looks like. Wow. I'm a little depressed about CIS, man. I wanted Bait to make a run here. I was thinking they were at least minor territory, and they didn't make the cut from the opens. I'm still depressed from that.
Who did they lose to in the opens?
Good question.
Was it Unique? I remember they were going up against them. Oh, I guess you can actually look on Wikipedia, can't you?
So I can find the
they lost to Modus Unity.
Yes, so that was it. It's the team that has eliminated Dendy multiple times in the past. So it's kind of a weird little rivalry.
Well, they got him again.
Got him again in the opens, dude.
Over on our side of the ocean, though, North American Qualifier, 2 slots, EG and Chaos. Definitely some big battles between Chaos and Fighting Pandas in terms of like who people thought might go for it. Business Associates, of course, in there as well, formerly J-Storm. But it felt like Pandas were kind of on a hot streak, I thought, as of late. But both Pandas and Business Associates were like the only real team in Group B, so they had a good time. Whereas Group A was a bit tougher, I would say, with Zlotl. They've kind of proven themselves a couple times in the past. But yeah, the eventual battle of Chaos versus Business Associates for that second slot after EG just kind of won their way out was finally won by Chaos. I feel like they kept getting the minor quals, right?
Yep.
Because they were at the first minor, and can't remember if they were at the next major that just didn't perform very well. But but give themselves another chance.
When I look at this bracket, I just go, man, that's a bummer for Fighting Pandas. I get matched up against EG first round, fairly easy 2-0 there, and then right up against Business Associates and 2 longer games. And
that was the throw.
Game 2 was the kind of notorious toss.
That was game 1.
Oh no, I'm sorry, game 1. That's the Medusa game.
They were down, and then they made this hold, and they eventually had a a 20K lead or something, and they went in for the ender with no buybacks, and it was just over. It was a very strange game to watch.
Yeah, I caught the end of it and also felt the same. It was just, well, that just ended. Kind of sort of like the game 4 we just saw in that EU qualifier where it looked good and then they lost a fight and then you die with the buyback and it just kind of ends. Okay. Except in this case, no buffer. And then Business Associates, a lot of 2-0s here. Well, I guess there's a couple 2-1s, but
yeah, the only good news is that you do have the 2 slots in the minor. One of them's already been secured by former J-Storm, now known as Business Associates, as they 2-0'd Pandas earlier, so kind of proving they are better than Pandas. So we're getting a tiered ranking right now in the NA scene. And Fighting Pandas will have their last shot in about 4.5 hours. They're already secured in the best of 5. That'll be up against the winner of Zlotl or Zoomies. Probably Zlotl, but don't put it past Zoomies. They can definitely do it. They showed some promise in some of their games.
Okay, a couple Canadians there. I don't know who Flapjack is, a Spanish player. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know who Flapjack is either, but our boy Sammy Boy, leading the charge. They're pretty funny. So I was talking to Sammy Boy a little bit when they were watching some of the games with me and Cap, and he was talking about how they have a mentality that they're playing with this time. Like everyone has played a different role throughout these qualifiers, except for him. I think he said everyone else has been moving around and stuff, but that's just because no one else really wants to play carry. And they had Lukey play his first ever game on Enchantress. He'd never played Enchantress before. Played his first game in the qualifier and they won. Okay. That was pretty funny. Yeah. And he said they're just gooning it up. They're just trying to play relaxed. They're emote spamming as much as they can. They're trying to be OG, he said. They're putting the OG approach from TI into the regular season. So we'll see if they can monkey business their way into a minor slot.
I hate to be a biased spectator, but definitely cheering for the Fighting Pandas a little bit. I'd like to see this squad at least show up to lands. But
well, they got a bunch of Canadians, so it's okay. You can be biased. I'll allow it.
4 Canadians and Snake King. That's what they need to change their name to. Fuck Fighting Pandas.
It's the most Canadians we've had since Team NP.
4 Canucks.
4 Canadians and MSS.
4 Canucks and the King.
Yeah.
That's a team name right there.
That is a great name, actually.
So what is going on with Business Associates? Because I looked this up and I didn't see any official announcement from JStorm. Business Associates doesn't have any Wikipedia page or social media. It's clearly just a temporary bullshit name, some logo they found on Google.
JStorm ran out of money, from what I heard. They're just not sponsoring anything. The players had to pay to stay in the place in boot camp. So they basically are paying rent to boot camp in the same spot, which is fine. If they're going to stop sponsoring, at least they let them rent out the place.
Yeah, I mean, if it's an okay price, then that's cool.
And then the term Business Associates is actually because apparently there was some discussion happening once with the team, and someone on the team said, yeah, we're just like a bunch of friends who are playing Dota, and Fear said, well, we're not really friends. We're more like business associates. And that was like a year and a half ago or something, and everyone thought it was hilarious.
That sounds like a pretty Fear thing to say.
It really does. So that's why they're called business associates.
That's cool. I mean, this is kind of a weird team in terms of dynamic because they made the run at, was it MDL? Whatever major that was.
JStorm, that was the first one of the year.
Yeah. So their points are pretty good. Should we pull up the DPC right now? Where are they? Are they 10th? 8th?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at the DPC in so long.
So DPC points, they're currently 8th with 920 points. They got 900 at MDL and they got 20 points at Dream League.
Wow.
So they're not a lock, but they're positioned real well. And if you're the org JStorm, you're looking at those player salaries that I'm sure aren't too cheap. I think any team that Fear is on is going to have pretty high salaries because he has a lot of accolades. He's had very high salaries in the past, I can almost guarantee. And from a team dynamic, I think you do need to be careful about having, one player that makes $8,000 a month and then 4 players that all make $2,000 a month or something like that, because it creates this divide of just just like a little hierarchy kind of, and it's just not always a healthy dynamic if things aren't going well. So I think that kind of buffs up the numbers for everyone else, and I'm sure J-Storm was paying a pretty penny for this team. But is it worth it if that team goes to TI? Maybe, probably. But TI is still, 6 months from now? That's a lot of salaries to be paying if it's not a guarantee. So to me, that's the J-Storm org saying, yeah, we don't think you're going to make a run at any of these remaining majors or minors.
Now, what's maybe I'm crazy here. When it says that points stay with teams now, what happens if your org drops you?
So I actually PM'd one of the players on J-Storm, and he told me that the points just follow players. So if you are the same 5, but you change orgs, nothing happens with your points whatsoever. And that is an attempt from Valve to give players more control so orgs can't sell or force buyouts or something. The players have all the leverage. Where you get fucked is if you start moving players around. Then you'd start taking penalties and stuff like that.
So that's the way it should be.
Yeah. So the players are pretty protected. They can say, all right, see you later, J-Storm. We're just going to do our thing. We've made enough money to support ourselves till TI, and we'll just go to TI. And then they can either wait for a better opportunity from like an offer from a bigger org like Mouse, who has a history of coming in, buying teams right before TI, and maybe you can make a fat stack in some kind of a buyout situation or, pick up like that. Or you say, fuck it, just go to TI by yourself and you get to keep all your prize money. And, after that, depending on how well you do, you can either start your own org, spin that org into something else, or say, fuck you, it's Dota. I've got money and I do what I want. #Eternal Envy.
That's the play.
So it's just an interesting... Why didn't J-Storm say anything? Is this the
end
I don't know.
I mean, from what I've heard, they are completely, as people are saying in chat, they're completely just shut down. That's
just
what I've
over?
heard. They're just out of money. They're just done.
Still, I would think there'd be a press article about filing bankruptcy, but is that the end of Jay Lin in Dota? Like, do we need to take a moment of silence here for a fallen hero, a great NBA god
back.
who's now been burned by the Dota torch?
I'm sure he's just chilling. Yo, can we do a live draft in the middle of a podcast to discuss the meta? Is that appropriate? That sounds kind of appropriate to me.
I don't know. Is it?
It's our show. We do what we want.
That is true. Game 5 of Nigma Alliance is starting.
Well, I mean, we're nearing the end of this whole qualifier setting, right? It's time we discuss the heroes that have made it. Who are the big heroes?
That's true.
Right?
It is definitely true. Though, real quick, before we get totally sidetracked, just looking at this major, big opportunity for Chaos Esports Club, because looking at DPC breakdown, they're 12th right now. They've got 240 points. They are by no means a lock, but a run at this major could actually secure them a good position going towards TI in these last couple majors. So
yeah, there's only 2 left.
It's getting tight. But they are definitely a team to keep an eye out for. And one of the other ones, we still don't know who's coming from China. I was going to say, if Aster is able to qualify, they could be another one that are in a position to try to lock themselves in. And don't forget about Beast Coast. That's the other.
Of Aster.
Beast Coast in 9th place right now with 820. Very similar spot as J-Storm. Positioned well, but they need another run. They need a few more.
I'm sure Beast Coast will be fine. I would be shocked if that team didn't qualify for TI. They should be at every major. So,
at this point, yeah. So what's going on with LGD? I know China's a mess right now because the qualifiers were delayed, but why is our chatter here?
What do you mean? What's up? Oh, buddy, you don't know the news?
Hit me with it.
Jeez. LGD are done. They're out again. They lost again.
I do know about this one. Oh, right. Yeah. They lost to the team.
The Blaze.
With Axe, the female
she's standing in. It's all the rage right now in discussion.
Dude. That is badass. I actually had something in my notes about this. I saw a Reddit thread that it probably made front page, but talking about the bans, and you look at it and you're like, holy shit, this is like Bulldog level. They banned all the offlaners.
It makes sense in some way too, because she is the stand-in, right? Like that's not her usual team.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make her as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah.
You don't want to like let her get one of her big heroes.
It does make sense. I mean, I think it's a fair strategy, but it definitely speaks
Didn't
to her
work.
skills.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was not a man. I can't believe like 2-0 too. They were playing again this morning. I don't know how they did though, but let me see. The rest of China after that though, it's still, as you said, delayed. We're still waiting. We still don't know what the end game's going to be when it comes to this, but they're making their way through the group stage now. And it looks like Blaze so far has a 1-1 victory. Is that it? Oh, they got 0-2'd as well. They got 0-2'd by Newbie. Who's on this Newbie roster? Oh, God, China.
Moogie, Faith, and then a bunch of others I don't know. AQ Wizard and Wakchai.
Wait, is Moogie playing? Oh, he is playing. Oh, okay.
So.
On the official page, he's not listed as playing.
Oh. I mean, with China, honestly, I don't know. There could be other stand-ins here. I really don't know what's going on over there at all. But
especially when they constantly
Wikipedia.
change their names. But so China basically, if you guys haven't heard, it is delayed a week. I think 2 weeks at this point. I can't remember. I feel like it was supposed to start earlier, but it's been delayed because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Outbreak that's going on
and
there.
That's also why Axe was standing in to begin with, because
that's true.
Their off laner apparently couldn't access a computer for whatever reason. I don't know, quarantine related or whatever, but so they had to scramble last second and find somebody, which kind of made it even more impressive that it was, wasn't like someone who they've been practicing with or something. It was a scramble. Please.
I mean, she's essentially a streamer there, too.
Yeah.
That's her. It would be like if you pulled in Gork and he just started playing on a team.
Yeah, that's probably
That's kind of the hype level that's going on over there. So I'm sure it'd be really fun, in a lot of those forums to discuss it right now.
But China is, I think it actually continues tonight. I think that's day 2 of the group stage. So we'll have more to discuss in the near future.
I'm peeking at this draft over here for Alliance Nigma, just to distract for a moment here, and I see a lot of the same damn heroes. If you guys have been watching the qualifiers, Snapfire's the hot shit, along with Slardar. They went first overall with Slardar in this draft, then picked up with the Snapfire, and then the attempted counter to the Slardar, I would assume, in the laning stage will be that Timber. So kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because he can probably survive all of the harass, but at the same time, you have this minus armor and constant stuns, so I don't think it's like the best counter pick, but obviously it worked out in the last game.
That lane matchup can be weirdly satisfying. If you're the Slardar, you get bullied until you hit level 6, and then you drop that armor debuff, and Timbersaw's like, oh, I thought reactive armor was good, and like, all of a sudden Timber becomes killable from right clicks again. It kind of swings both ways. So right now Alliance have Snapfire, Timber, and Disruptor, and it's Nigma with Slardar, Void Spirit, currently thinking about their third pickup.
Should be Kuro's hero. Is the Chen banned? The Chen is still in, but Chen and a Snapfire Timber sounds kind of bad. Venge would be kind of okay. I think you could swap people out of Kinetic Field. You can give Vision for Snapfire. Stun for the Timber Saw.
What about Oracle?
Oracle is, it seems that most people feel comfortable playing with the Dispel. Like if you want to pick like these Trolls or Monkey Kings, like any hero that wants to go in, you basically want some sort of a save or a hard Dispel like that. So yeah, Oracle's okay. Oracle doesn't really help you when you're in Static Storm though.
True, that's fair.
That kind of worries me. Some teams have been trying Silencer as well versus the Snapfire and the Timbersaw, but whoa, they go full aggro and pick up a Skywrath Mage.
Ooh.
Skywrath has been considered very good versus Timbersaw, of course. Like, I mean, he's probably the hero that I see the most in pubs versus the Timbersaw.
Yeah.
But,
Skywrath is one of those kind of Willow-esque heroes that just has that power to pop somebody real quick, even against like Disruptor. If you catch him, you've got the power to kill him.
And much like Disruptor, they have the worst games. They have the best games and the absolute worst games, Sometimes you see Skywrath that just feeds the whole time.
So looking at this draft, though, at first I thought, all right, this is going to be a Weehaw Void Spirit. Is this going to be a Weehaw Skywrath instead? Because that is one of his crazy signature heroes. That would be a sick Game 5. But it's so scary, dude. As you just mentioned, I have seen games where he rolls and games where he fucking feeds. You're 0 armor, dude.
Yeah. No, this will be a support for sure.
Okay.
I would be stunned. I'm pretty sure it'll be GH because it's a really good dual name with the Slardar. And we're still looking for the Miracle Hero here, and then it looks like Crows will be last because they have to do the 2 picks in the end in a row. And it's going to be a Miracle Lifestealer to go up against a Timbersaw, a Disruptor, a Snapfire, and then the 4th pick, Tiny, for Alliance, which, of course, when Limp's on the team means that it you assume that it's going to be mid at first. Yeah. And with a Snapfire and a Disruptor already picked up, that's likely going to be the case. So they have a core Timber and a core Tiny already showing. Looks like a Techies game here, guys.
It's a good Lifestealer pick. I always love Lifestealer with Slardar, too. Such easy initiation, good infest bombs. Somebody that can help
really
you get away
for the Skywrath ultis.
Yeah.
And Lifestealer is a strong enough carry that you can make this a 5 Skywrath if you want, which is interesting. I don't know if Kuro wants to play that. I think Kuro still wants like one of these heals or these saves or something. I still like the Venge, and they're going to ban the Chen. I think the Chen or the Oracle are also fine. But I think Venge is just kind of hype.
It's definitely hype. I would be stoked to watch it. Remember, this is
Lich
game 5, dude.
Oh, he's just going to pick Lich.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe Lich made it this far.
Yeah, me too.
Then he'd have Frost Shield for the Slardar, for the Void Spirit, and the Lifestealer. You have Gaze to mess up the Timbersaw. And you have at least 2 melee cores already showing with Chain Frost.
Have you cast a game where Lich gets Ags? Is the AoE Sinister Gaze a meme, or is it actually good?
I saw the ice and thought I was right, and then it was AA.
Okay. Well, similar
no,
flavor.
I have not seen a game with the eggs.
Also, very good with Slardar. Similar to that kind of like CK AA vibe. You can get Cold Feet with the Slithering Crush, bashes, and get guaranteed stuns. It's a good combo. You're getting kills in lane. You're a real threat.
Yeah, and it speaks to the Lifestealer again. Just like you can have a 5 Skywrath, this makes it really easy to have a 5 AA because the Lifestealer is pretty self-sufficient, and you don't have to worry too much about him. Oh, Alliance. Game 5, 30 seconds, 10th pick. You gotta have some sort of a ranged core here or an illusion spammer like that Naga band that Nigma went for. Like, you need someone who can carry this game super hard, like a big anchor. I don't know if you want a Spectre. There's a lot of single target. I think that's why they went with the AA, because they see this Tiny and this Timber, and they say, you guys need to go all in on a hard carry. So the other way is that you go like some crazy Pugna or some shit.
Yeah, like they need like
they went all in.
CK type carry. It's a Dusa.
I don't know.
I think Nigma got this. I like this Nigma draft.
Oh, it was a good AA pick.
Dusa, Tiny, Disruptor, Timbersaw, Snapfire for Alliance. Nico, Baby, Medusa. Oh, I just watched that Envy game on the Dusa this morning, and I'm having flashbacks. Trent. I can't shake them.
Now, Alliance can definitely win this. They want to secure the first Roche. They want to take early towers. 3-3 needs one of those classic good starts to a game with the Timbersaw. And I don't know, Medusa's got some sauce now, you know? She runs stupidly fast. Like, she is just like flying all over the place, but we'll see. I think, as you said, Nigma's looking pretty scary. That mind control GH lane with the Slardar and the Skywrath Mage, not a lot of people can handle that. And their support duo is Snapfire Disruptor. There's no, like, you know, big laning support like a Bane or a Witch Doctor or something here to try and make this a little bit easier.
I think the supports for Nigma have a chance to pop off and really snowball this game. I could see Skywrath and Ancient Apparition both setting up a lot of kills. Really good aggressive heroes, and I don't know. The Hanskin
I think if
Disruptor.
they put... Oh, man. Do you put the Medusa mid? Let it go mid versus the Void Spirit? I feel like you might have to.
That much of a lane dominator now since they altered Snake? I mean...
No, her side lane's just so bad. I don't want to send her into a lane versus Skywrath Mage and Slardar.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and you just trade farm with the Void Spirit. That might be the safe bet.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to get out carried. I think this Lifestealer is going to have a free game.
Do they have any BKB Pierce? They don't, right? Just the Dusa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem.
All right. Well, Game 5, Nigma Alliance, the Meta Live podcast coverage of the draft.
If you want to go watch it live, you can go to Beyond the Summit, which you obviously don't. Or you can go watch Shiver. She's streaming it. Looks like Lyrical's streaming it too.
I love the mod. Do you remember when this whole thing started happening where everybody was just covering games, and then there was this period where only players could do it, whereas like competing studios / casters, those that are poised to make a living from casting these games, were barred from it. And it's slowly been broken down, and now it just seems like an open, as long as it's not MOONDUCK streaming the summit or BTS streaming like Midas mode, it seems like, DPC, whatever, fuck it, everybody just cover whatever, and we're all watching it, we're all having a great time. I guess that's cool. I mean, I had fun casting the opens, but the opens are a little different. Nobody's really covering that in a serious manner. This is like big shit, you know?
I'm definitely a big fan of the personal streams and the the chill cast. I think as long as you're not like, running ads, selling sponsors, and it's hard to draw the line though. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's at some point you are just kind of straight up hurting TOs, right? Like BTS would have paid for these rights, for example.
Yeah.
To show this. So, our whole ecosystem can
it's a weird line, and at some point I feel a little bad, but on another token, like streaming the opens and having a couple hundred viewers on my stream made me feel like, maybe my stream would be a little more popular if I had just done this for every event and just not really given a shit like some other people did, because it seems like there are zero repercussions. It's that weird thing where you feel like you get left behind if you follow the rules to a T to some degree, but I guess that's the problem. We don't know exactly what the rules are.
And I think another thing is that a lot of the tier 1 casters don't want to take away from people who are on the come up. Like, this is the only work that you get as a not LAN attending caster.
That's true. Someone actually came into my stream and said, "Oh shit, tier 1 casters are covering opens now." And I was just like, well, first of all, I'm flattered. Second of all, I get your point. It's like there is a degree of, you feel, as someone that still gets some LAN gigs, you feel a little bad for the casters that are still trying to grind through that kind of purely remote phase. But at the same time, it's a dog-eat-dog world, dog. I don't know. Like, sorry?
Yeah.
I guess. One thing we didn't talk about, though, Bud, that was quite spicy. What was going on in South America?
I was just about to say we still have a region left.
Yeah.
So
it's twofold. There was a crazy tie-break scenario, like one of those, well, what happens if they just keep tying the head-to-head? And they go, well, I guess we just keep playing. I don't know. What are the chances that happens 4 times in a row? Well, kind of like Apex and Fusion Rune. High enough.
Eventually, it will happen. So if you were to spectate any of the South American one, it got pretty wild. There were accusations of Beast Coast intentionally throwing a game to force this whole tiebreaker scenario, which is just completely ridiculous in my opinion. I don't think there's any way they did that on purpose, guys.
No.
Like, they could have just, won the game and then not have to do this crazy tiebreaker. So eventually, the tiebreaker scenario was fully sorted out. Beast Coast and Furia moved on. Infamous were knocked out during that little tiebreaker shindig. And Thunder Predator took the first slot in a bit of a surprise by 2-0ing Beast Coast. And then Beast Coast had to battle their way back through Furia, 2-0ing them to secure the second slot in South America. But that 3-way group tie, if you did miss it, it resulted in you having to do like, okay, Furia plays Beast Coast, and then Beast Coast plays Infamous, and then Infamous plays Furia. And 2 teams get to move on, so we'll just see who wins. And that cycle continued of rock, paper, scissors, win for 2 full rounds before Beast Coast finally broke the cycle by defeating Furia and then Infamous. So that's how it played out, if you guys were wondering.
I see. So, wow. Thunder Predator and Beast Coast make it. So that's the tiebreaker kind of drama. Moxie and Neff that's like takes casting grind to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's true.
What was the DQ drama?
The DQ drama. There was heavy flooding in Sao Paulo, from what I understand, and that's where Payne's located. So during the semifinals of the playoffs, Beast Coast actually got a default win over Payne Gaming because Payne could not continue the match. They now not only could they not continue, they had their 10 minutes of pause time up. Beast Coast were questioning the admin, saying, "Hello, according to the rules, we've won." The admins weren't responding. And then eventually, apparently, they were contacting Valve just to clarify that they are indeed supposed to terminate them, and Valve weren't responding apparently.
Let
so
me
they
get
just
this
kept
straight.
the game going.
They contacted Valve to make sure that they were supposed to enforce the rules. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I understand.
Are you fucking serious? What is the deal with incompetent administration in South America? This has been a recurring theme for years and years. You write down the rules. When there's a discrepancy, you open the rule book, you go to the line and go, okay, this is what we do. What the is there something I'm missing here? I don't understand. There's a limited pause time. It's
not just South America. It's every region, first off. Every region has always had a problem with admins.
Well,
I mean, first off, I'm just going to assume the admin wasn't even paid. Maybe they were, but going by historical standards, this guy was probably a volunteer.
They should be paid. I mean, if
maybe
they're not,
he was being paid now that we're at this level, at into the playoffs. But
yeah,
for a lot of the time, these admins don't usually have the most experience. They're usually pretty new to the job. They're just hosting the lobby for the most part, hoping they never have to do anything.
I mean, I do get that it's a scary sort of like, oh my God, I'm about to DQ a team. I want to get senior approval on this.
Yeah.
That's a fair kind of train of thought for you to go to as an admin. However, the point of being an admin is that you have the authority to make these decisions. So like, you only want to do that if it's not black and white or whatever. Like every so often there's these really weird scenarios where like, oh, it was 90 minutes and then the game crashed and we can't load in. So like, there's no rule for that. But this seems, I don't think there's a rain clause. You know what I mean? That it sucks. But the problem is with these things, you have to take the harsh stance because of stuff like plug pulling and DDoS. When everything is remote and you're losing and you just smash your router and go, my internet's out, I don't know what happened, and then you want to have a remake for tomorrow, that's abusable. So from a tournament perspective, you have to have this kind of zero tolerance of like, sorry, it sucks, but like if you can't play, can't play.
I think weather is very different. If there was a tornado ripping through a part of North America, they wouldn't make them play.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't DQ them.
I mean, you're not wrong. There is a point where somebody from the upper level could try to stand in, but interfere and say, hey, we're going to postpone this because, like you said, this is a natural disaster that couldn't be helped. Sort of like China did. I think it gets tough when it's part of this whole regional thing. You're talking about a whole continent and only one area is affected and everyone else is like, well, we're ready to fucking play. It gets hinky about, are you playing favorites with one team because they're based in one spot that's flooding compared to other teams that have other hardships that aren't quite as severe, and then you get into this whole pain and suffering contest. It gets fucking hinky real quick, man.
I mean, personally, I don't know. I don't see the harm in extending it one more day. Maybe I'm insane.
If that's all it takes,
surprised.
maybe.
There have been typhoons in the past that have postponed it by a day. And they were already behind because of tiebreakers. That's true. But what's one more day in the Visa lottery?
That probably compounded things. The fact that it had already gone on so long and there's extra pressure to try to get it done. I agree with you, actually. I think the key thing, though, is it has to be done beforehand.
Yes.
Once the series starts, that's kind of it. But I think there's a world where Payne maybe could have pushed or should have pushed. I have no idea. This is all conjecture. But to say, hey, our lights are going in and out. This shit's fucked. There's water coming into the building. We need to evacuate. ESL, we need to postpone this series. But once game one starts, dude, that's where this shit gets kind of fucked. And I think you kind of have to default it once you're in deep like that.
I think probably they should have just restarted at game 2 the next day, personally.
Yeah.
But I don't have the most info about the situation. I was a little surprised to see how it went down, but
yeah.
Either way, what happened was that Beast Coast did win Game 3 as well. So then they took the series, and then, of course, Payne lost their games to Furia after. So then Payne went down to the minor qualifier, which they are currently at a semifinal in about an hour. They play the lower bracket finals versus No Ping Esports, where they'll then play Furia for that one slot at the SA minor. So Payne are not fully out, but they still have a bit of a tough road to go.
I mean, let's be real. None of these teams are getting visas anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Hey, they're going to... It's more so that they'll get another team in because none of the Chinese teams can come. So,
yeah,
you never know. I'd
mean,
still be applying for a visa if I lose the minor or the major quals.
well, so this is for real though, a newsworthy topic that our boy, the manager for Fnatic, Rain or whatever his handle is, Eric.
Well, let's shall we finish Southeast Asia first since we haven't discussed them, and then we'll go right into that.
You know, I totally forgot about Southeast Asia. Let's do it. That'll flow nicely.
Yeah, we got it all worked out here. So upsets galore in the major quals. I think sure, TNC's been on a bit of a dip as of late, but you still expect them to make the major. I mean, come on, that's their whole bread and butter. I thought they'd be able to do it, but nay. The 3 slots there in Southeast Asia, one went to Fnatic, probably the only really expected team. Geek Fam picked one up, an org that I have to say I'm a big fan of. Geek Fam. I think they've done a great job coming into the scene. I haven't heard anything bad about them. From what I can tell, they seem to treat the players really well. They really care about the players and are trying to give them everything they need to be successful. I keep seeing like new hires in the organization. I see players happy with the organization. And now they've got themselves a major slot. So I think that's pretty cool.
So they've also as an org, it's backed by a couple of young entrepreneurs in that area. I've chatted with them a long time ago when they first formed the team. And
now,
I
remember for Mr. Cat.
Yeah, dude.
I believe.
And now they're kind of bigwigs, and they've expanded the brand. They've got like Geek TV, which I think they're trying to turn into like a TV channel type thing, sort of like the EGG network, if I'm not mistaken. They've got Geek Events too. They've got like a whole stack now in I think they're based in Malaysia, if I'm not totally mistaken. But they're more than just a team. They're like a full brand, and I think within the area they're quite popular, as you said. Really good reputation. And yeah, they are based in Malaysia.
Yeah, and then our other team that faced weather issues, Adroit, had to forfeit their first game versus Fnatic, and then got 17 minutes stomped in game 2. Not sure how much of that was impacted by performance possibilities. But they then had to play against Mushi's stack in the other slot getter. And that was a Miracle, Bimbo, Ohio, and Mushi. That's a pretty stacked team. But Bocarino and the boys took it. I'm a big Adroit fan here, not going to lie. So happy to see Boombox back in action. Mac Daddy as well in the mid lane. Oh, I love watching this team, dude.
God, poor Mushi, man. How long has it been since Mushi had a real good run at something? Looks like 2018. The run with Mineski, where they won PGL Bucharest Major, they won the DAC Championships 2018, and then got 10th at TI8, and that's it. Mushi's been on kind of a cold streak.
It's tough.
It's tough out
That's
there.
just the life.
Yeah.
Oh, he had that little stint on Keen, right?
Yes,
that's pretty comical.
But I don't think they really won anything.
No, but I mean,
He
in
did
terms
play,
of like
though,
showing
yeah.
up places.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. So let us continue then into C. So then that made us or that took us to the minor qualifiers, right?
Real quick though, while we're on the top of the Mushi team, I did want to make note they still don't have a Wikipedia page. Boys, you need to get on this. But IO Dota, that's a new org in Southeast Asia. They were split off from. Oh fuck, I don't remember now. But
their logo looks like neon.
It's pretty legit though. Maybe somebody in Twitch chat can help. They oh man, it's another org, and now they were like the Malaysian sect of it. Was it Mineski Events? Was it the Mineski Events team? And now this is their own sort of split off based in Malaysia.
They have a lot of the same players.
But Kenchi, he's pretty notorious in that region. I saw on Facebook that he's involved with the org. So I think from a management level, it's pretty legit.
That would be Mineski then, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. So I don't know if that's a placeholder name or what, but I think they're looking to start like a whole new brand and all that. So keep an eye out, bud. Exciting times.
Well, they'll have to do it next DVC because they went to the minor qualifiers. They got 2-0'd by Reality Rift and then 2-0'd by TNC. And then Reality Rift took the victory over TNC and then eventually lost to our boys. It's Kescute. It's DreamoCell. It's FBZ.
You know what's cooking.
It's Boom ID. Going to be heading to Star Ladder Minor. So pretty exciting for these guys, of course. Man, we're really big C fans.
Yeah. Spent a lot of hours casting C.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Facehugger?
Facehugger? Where's
remember
he
that
been?
guy? Oh. I'm gonna Google him.
Let's see here.
Oh, he plays for Evo still. Okay.
And what
I
is
knew he was
Evos?
Indonesian, but I was thinking that he was on Boom ID. But he's an Evos guy.
Did Evos play in this qualifier? Where were they? Were they in the Open?
Don't know.
Did they get eliminated? I don't remember seeing Evos.
I'm gonna guess they lost in the Opens.
Huh.
Seems like a reasonable expectation.
I think as an org, Evos is slaying it though. They sponsor a lot of mobile teams, which are super popular in Southeast Asia. Every time I watch like Mobile Legends and that stuff, I always see Evos.
Huh? They weren't even in the Open qualifier. Yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
Dude, this Open qualifier was crazy. You think about the teams that get knocked out here, by the way. You have Execration, didn't make it through the Open qualifier. You have T1, which was the new stack with Frev and Black and everyone, didn't make it through. You have Cloud9 just sponsoring that stack, who then got knocked out by Trust Gaming, which is just, no one really special. Man, 496 was in that qualifier too. Jeez, man, their Open qualifiers are brutal.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, this Cloud9 roster has a lot to prove, and they're not going to be able to do it on this cycle.
Yeah, no, it's tough stuff right now.
Scam, VT, Faded, Misery, Flea, Pili, Die.
My boy Flea. But yeah, so that wraps it up. And now you were saying, as Boom ID, they just won the minor qualifier. So let's say they managed to win at Star Ladder. They how long until that starts? Let's see. When is the Star Ladder minor?
What, about a month? I think something
March
like that.
5th. Oh my God, under a month. Oh, that's spooky, dude.
That's 1, 2, 3 weeks. It's about exactly 3 weeks.
So they have to get a visa for Ukraine. Ukraine's fine. That's pretty reasonable visa for Southeast Asia. I don't think they'll have a problem with that. But how do you get a visa for? Because you need your passport, right? And you're trying to get this U.S. visa right now.
Yes.
Not going to be easy for a C team. I think with this coronavirus outbreak, that's gonna be frustrating.
Are you talking about like whoever wins the minor or just okay. Yeah, I honestly I can't pretend to know very much about international visas from all these different countries, but literally how is it possible to do that when you have to send it off to Ukraine to get a visa? Like, you can't apply for 2 visas at the same time because, as you said, you usually have to hand your like when I got my Chinese visa, they took my passport for a week.
Yeah.
So I couldn't leave the country. I couldn't apply somewhere else. It's how do you do that?
I don't know. People are saying things like, "Oh, we'll just apply early." Like, well, you knew it was going to be in the U.S. Like, why didn't you apply months ago? It's like, well, what do you think are the odds they're going to approve a visa application for a Southeast Asian guy before the tournament's even like started?
I think that sounds really sketch. You come in, you're just like, yeah, we might qualify for this tournament because once they approve the visa, even if you don't qualify, the visa still goes through. So that's why like being an actual qualifier invited team and having that invite letter is a big difference maker because it's a clear, they want to know when you're going to leave the country. You can clearly say this event, these dates to these dates.
Yeah. I mean, you would have to go through and like book all of the flights and the hotels, and of course they're refundable and everything, but it's
yeah.
And then you have to hope that they accept your visa. If they reject your visa by saying things like, "Okay, well, we want an invitation letter," that's like a strike against you.
Well,
and then that's going to make it harder in the future to get the visa the next time.
Well, and there's also this portion of you really need all 5 players. This isn't one of those like, well, 3 of them got their visas. That's pretty okay, right? Like, not really.
Yeah.
That's not the same team anymore. So that's basically is bad. It, I guess 4 out of 5 is doable, but yeah, this is going to be ESL might get a little shafted here.
Dude, sidebar here. This I see chat talking about the Alliance Nigma game right now. Nigma, we're right, dude. Nigma's gonna win this game. Like, the AA is just too good. Like, the Slardar or the Void Spear can set up so easily for the Ice Blast. It's just guaranteed.
Yeah.
What the hell? Nigma have 2 Philosopher's Stone? They stole their Philosopher's Stone. Look, Kuro and GH both have one.
All right. Well, that's busted. That's
those are 2 busted ass heroes to have it.
That's all right. Well, all they need to do is hold this steady, and they're gonna have a nice little gold lead, dude. That's ridiculous. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Who needs GPM talent? Might as well buy a Midas now if you're Kuro.
Yeah, seriously. What am I seeing in chat here? What is all this script? Are people talking about the players scripting, or are they making fun of the casters for reading off a script?
No, Killer Pigeon made a joke earlier where he had a notepad open, and the notepad just had Alliance win game 1, and he just like wrote down what the script was.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
And I think so far it's correct. He just happened to be right.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. All right, let me pull up my notes here because I had a few other things we talked about. Accounts ban. This was a nice little treat. Valve goes through every.
Let me give you the script. It was Alliance take game 1, Nigma take game 2, Nigma clutch game 3 off the back of a fight outside Roche with DD. I think that's when he showed it accidentally, if I'm not mistaken. Quote unquote accidentally. And then he put Alliance win game 4 and 5. Oh wait, no, that was after game 1. So if Alliance win game 4 and game 5, his script's pretty right.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's look at this man. He's thinking. So yeah, about 40,000 accounts, Steam accounts banned. Valve doing another wave. This wasn't for scripting and botting and stuff as much as just, was it like MMR abuse? Which I don't understand exactly what triggered this ban wave. Was this like a solo queue with languages kind of thing?
I believe it's a Smurf complaints thing. For the most part.
Okay.
Just people, it might be the language abuse, as he said, too. Could be that as well.
It's like boosting. That's the kind of...
Yeah, like boosting and shared accounts, I think, was like the main culprit here.
Okay.
But I don't know how it's really ever going to impact that kind of stuff. Because they'll just make more Smurfs. I don't think Valve does hardware or IP bans, right?
I don't think so. I think that gets a little hinky. And I mean... It's also this weird function of Dota's a free game, and if people keep making Steam accounts, you set up all these deterrents, so you need burner phones and whatever else to be able to play matchmaking and the hours logged to be able to play ranked games. They've added more barriers that you're never going to be able to completely stop it, but they don't want to hardware ban people because they still want them to buy stuff on Steam. They still want people to, like, it's a balance there where lifetime banning is pretty, from like that perspective, DNA ban, so to speak. I don't know if Valve really wants to do that. Are you ready for that day when we have DNA bans, dude?
I guess I was considering Smurfs and boosted the same thing, aka a Smurf that gets passed on. But I guess, yeah, if you're just keeping the Smurf, it's not a problem. What were you saying?
I said, are you ready for the future when we have not just IP or hardware bans, we have DNA bans?
My biometric scan before I can log in.
Yeah, dude. Once everything's biometric, all that data is going to be logged. And they'll be like, that's how we know it's not you playing. You didn't do the retinal scan or whatever the fuck it is.
I saw that there's some discussion about how passwords won't even be needed soon. Like, even right now, technically a password's not really needed. They could basically just say, type in your name, and then by how you hit the keystrokes, they would just know if it's you or not.
That's interesting. The way you type is going to be like the handwriting of the future.
Yeah.
That's kind of bananas to wrap your brain around.
I mean, it makes sense.
Have you ever thought, though, with the facial recognition thing on the phone, isn't that a security breach? Like, I always thought, what if somebody, like, slipped me a Mickey, and then I'm passed out, and then they just hold my phone up to my face, and same with the thumb reader, You pass out, and then they just put my thumb on my phone, and then my phone's unlocked. That's way less secure than the number. They'd have to torture me to get the number.
Start cutting off your arm until you tell them your password.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, I don't know, dude. Is getting roofied that crazy? You do something crazy, you unlock your phone. They got all my Bitcoins, Trent. They could get my Bitcoins.
Not your Bitcoins, my goodness.
Not my half a Bitcoin. Oh.
All right, stop flexing.
So I've got big flex there. So I've got one last little anecdote thing that I want to ask if you saw, and if not, bring to your attention. Did you see that tweet from our buddy Scantzor maybe 2, 3, 4 days ago about the pornographic film that has Midas mode in the background? Are you aware of this?
Well, I remember someone messaged us one a while back that it was me and you casting. Is this the same one?
No, so this is different. That one got removed for some reason. It had a crazy amount of views. I saved the link, and once it started getting passed around, it actually got deleted. So I think that one, it might have been accidental. I don't get it. But this is becoming like a real meme trend of porn videos with esports in the background. And This most recent one, you might have you heard of this young lady, Freya Stein?
No.
She's very popular on Pornhub. I know that you're a frequent visitor, but one of her most popular videos was the blowjob.
Sorry, could you just say that name again there?
Freya Stein. You can follow her on Instagram. It's a private account. But one of her more popular videos is the blowjob at Dota 2 Major, and it's at Epicenter. And it starts with they're like in the crowd, and you can see the matches, and they go into the bathroom, and she gives him a blowy. It's got like 2 million views or something. I was doing some research. I was checking it out. She's got like 225K followers on Pornhub. If you don't know what Pornhub is...
Wait, how do you have a follower on Pornhub?
It's the YouTube of porn. It's you have a whole page and there's...
No, I know how porn works, but do people actually make accounts?
Oh, yeah, dude. Pornhub is legit the YouTube for porn. It's the exact same infrastructure. You make a channel, you can subscribe, you get your feed, you can donate, they can post little announcements. It's a whole social media platform for pornography.
Okay.
So, I've realized 2 things. One, Freya Stein's brand is built on, she is an adult Dota 2 content creator. That's like, go to her Twitter, and that's what it says.
That's what it says?
It says content creator, Dota 2, and then there's the emoji for 18 with the sign over it, like under 18, not allowed.
Wow. Damn, she's going to be getting those cosplays. That's what she needs.
And she's Russian, I believe, and boy, is she popular. Now, this video... I'm pretty sure it's just a loot bet ad. I don't know what the fuck they're saying, but if you watch this video, the first, it's maybe 6 minutes long. The first 2 minutes, he's just watching Midas Mode on loot bet. There's a big logo there on the screen, and he's just placing bets. He's just talking in Russian and placing, and she's like kind of filming herself and her boobs and filming him. And I think it's all
think loot bet paid for this?
I wonder.
Because that's fucking genius.
Because, I mean, it's not just like he's doing it for 5 seconds and then they start banging. It's like a whole setup where I assume they're talking about what's happening on the computer because he's pointing at the screen and talking back to her. And then after he places the bets, they, get to business or whatever. Now,
business.
I also thought of this because we've worked with a number of betting sponsors, and I've mentioned some of this before, but there's pretty strict legal regulations of how you can advertise betting. And one of the things,
you can't look cool while betting.
Yeah, one of the things in highly regulated areas like the UK, a lot of Europe, North America, you absolutely cannot pay for ads that imply that you will be better or more successful with women as a result of gambling. Like those old school pictures of like a dude in a throne and all these hot girls. You can't do that shit because psychologically it implies that like, okay, if I become good at gambling, hot women will want to have sex with me.
So instead, you just hire the porn star to make your ad.
Right. And most people aren't
table.
searching on Pornhub, so like regulators aren't going to find it, quote unquote, until they listen to this fucking podcast. Newsflash, they don't. But if this whole conspiracy theory is right, LootBet might have found advertising that you truly cannot buy.
I mean, that's impressive.
That is insane. I hope they paid Freya Stein for that. I hope that, and that video's got like 1.6 million views, dude. Like crazy views. So shout out to LootBet for breaking the system, dude. And shout out to Freya Stein for hopefully profiting off this this kink in the operation. So there you go, bud. How about that? How do you like those apples?
I mean, I don't even know what to say. I've learned so much.
I went down a real dirty rabbit hole trying to get prepared for this podcast, but I had to make a personal sacrifice. So my browser history will never recover.
Well, I feel like I had other things written down for this thing, but now I'm just completely lost on the all this beautiful stuff. Did we covered that? We covered that. Maybe
The only other thing that I had written down that has nothing to do with Dota is I recently learned that you guys have a friend day.
You mean Family Day?
Family Day? I was told it's called Friend Day. Is that this Monday? Canadian holiday?
It depends on what province you're in.
Oh.
Basically, the government said, we don't have enough holidays. We have another holiday. So every province has got to make their own holiday, whatever they want to call it. Any of the provinces that had less. So we had less holidays, so it's called Family Day. So it's just supposed to be about spending time with family.
Ah, Okay.
But I mean, it just got made like 5 or 6 years ago, so it's literally just a holiday to like, give people a break.
Okay, that's cool. So it coincides though with the American President's Day because that's this Monday.
Really?
I think so. I'm pretty
Do
sure.
you guys have a holiday for President's Day, but not a holiday on Election Day?
Wait, say that again.
So like, you guys don't get the day off to vote, but you just get a random day off later on in the year that celebrates the presidency?
Yeah, so I just recently learned that apparently it used to be individual president birthdays that we would celebrate, but then there were so many presidents we liked that became a little too cumbersome, and we can't just be sitting around jerking off to birthdays, so they just consolidated it, and we're like, yeah, Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson, whatever. It's just all the presidents were celebrating all their birthdays in one day, so we turned it into one. But you're right. We don't have the day off to vote. No, that's classic America. If you want to vote, you need to wait in line. Although you can mail in your ballot. I don't know why people stand in. It's fucking stupid. You can.
Aren't there some places where you can't though?
Probably. I actually, that's a fair point. That it's all run by local jurisdictions, so every place is different, and that's where all the voter suppression and shit comes in. And Colorado is super easy. They mail you a ballot, and you just drop it off in the box at the post office. I didn't wait at all, but.
Yeah, I just do early voting at the like a couple of weeks before. They have like the early voting things. I just go in on like a Saturday or a Sunday, roll on up to the church nearby.
I think we have that too in a lot of places. You can mail your ballot in early. There's a ton of ways to make it easy, but I've been saying for a while I want online voting, but since that last election thing that the Democrats fucked up, I might be good on that. I think the black hat hackers are way better at breaking systems than the white hat political people are at building systems, so I'm good on the digital voting for another couple decades, I think.
Yeah, we'll hold off on that one.
Yeah. We'll let Estonia do it first, and then we'll follow in their footsteps.
They do everything first.
Well, they've got they're the first country to have a fully digital government. I think
they've got Buka, dude. They can do anything.
Every service that the government offers is accessible through a web portal.
Wait,
they've got
they
that.
Don't have Wait, is Buka? Is his office there? Am I crazy?
Think so. Yeah. His office is in
Serbia, right?
He's from Serbia, but he lives in Estonia.
He's in Estonia
because Estonia is in the EU and Serbia is not.
Ah, there you go.
That's what's cool about Estonia. You can become a virtual citizen. If you and I wanted to start a business in the EU, we could apply, and if we get approved, open a bank account and start a business and do everything in Estonia and just be virtual digital business citizens or whatever. You get a little digital card and shit. It's pretty cool. It's sort of badass that exists.
Will the embassy come and save me in a crisis in Canada?
Maybe.
Is that the whole benefit of being a citizen somewhere?
I don't know. It's like it's not a real citizenship, but it's like a permit to do business. But it's kind of badass that you can not be a citizen of the EU, and if you get approved, you can open a bank account in the EU. That's
hey
pretty
guys,
wild.
You know what's really good against single core drafts? AA.
Just makes you want to
ultra kill.
Want to play an ancient apparition game, doesn't it?
No, you need the right teammates to make this hero look this good. And he had a Slider and a Void Spirit. I mean, Void Spirit's completely busted with this hero because he can just jump forward and gaze someone, and they're easily going to get hit by the ulti.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a sick combo.
Yeah. But yeah, Nigma looking real good to wrap it up, and we should wrap it up so you guys can go watch the finale.
Catch the finale. We'll get the audio up for this. Now video does get released about 24 hours after the audio podcast comes out. So if you joined us late, go ahead and check that out. It'll be up on Streamcast and then all of the other locations, the iTunes, the Spotify, all that. Make sure you check out the Moonduck store. Pick up all your goodies. Pick up a copy of Surviving Esports. It's a good one, and. We'll see you next time. I don't know what we're talking about after the next pod. This is like the lull period now. We're going to have to start scraping for content. We need to get an interview.
We're going to make content, buddy. It's going to be great.
We need to get an interview on here. We need to stir up some drama.
We do have to get some people.
Yeah.
We'll talk to some people.
All right, cool. Well, see you next time, gang. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.